What is up, everybody? Another week of Pat's interference. It's week 3. Week 2's in the books, but it's been a really crazy. There haven't been a ton of marquee matchups, but it's been pretty eventful.
Yeah, dude, it's been a really, really good college football season. Like, the crazy part is, like, the playoff is wide open now. Like, there's so many teams that could make it, and there's so many teams that are normally there that look like they're not going to. We'll get to that in a bit. Congrats to your Dolphins, by the way.
Very much.
Week 1 win on Sunday.
Huge Sunday for me.
Watching that was stressful.
I was nearly comatose after that game.
I know. No, I was there.
To a 466 yards of the air, just shy of his 469 against the Ravens last year. I'm a big Dolphins fan, but this is a college football podcast.
Yep.
If this is your first time joining us on Twitch, number one, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, welcome.
We know it's late. This will be our latest podcast probably this season, unless we have to change some things around because, well, you had a little baseball game today. He works for the Durham Bulls. But my name is Patrick Brickman. He is Patrick Norwood.
Howdy.
Alabama grads, college football enthusiasts, savants.
Savants?
We're college football savants, or maybe not so much, because Alabama took that L on Saturday. But either way, we're having fun, both with the podcast and the college football season. We're not here to cry. We're not here to mope. We're not here to whine today.
No, that's not us. That's not us. We're more of...
That was us Saturday night.
We're like academics of college football.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, sure, we have a rooting interest, but
we're
like,
above all of that.
like we're more about like how you study like Roman history. We're academics of college football.
I cannot believe you just said that. Okay, so MC, my girlfriend, comes up
I know her.
like an hour and a half ago. She just out of the blue, and this is nothing to do with college football.
No, obviously
out
not.
of the blue, we're laying on the couch watching TikToks, and she just says to me, I'm telling you, this is just recently. She goes, "How often do you think about the Roman Empire?"
Oh, that was a TikTok thing.
It was a TikTok thing.
Yeah.
And I had to say, I said probably every few days.
I said more than you'd think.
Yeah, probably more than
more than you think.
Definitely more
yeah.
than girls, because I think that's sort of what it became as guys think about. I actually watched like a 19-minute video on YouTube the other day that was about the fall of the Roman Empire out of nowhere, and then she asks me this. But we have a little surprise for you today.
We do. Oh, dude, I'm so excited.
This is our third.
I am so excited.
We've never done it this way before till this season. So if you're watching, again, thank you. You're along with an experiment for us. But the reason we're doing this is because while we do our podcast, we had this. I don't know. You might want to call it a brilliant idea. I'm going to call it an idea because I don't like to toot my own horn. Actually, yeah, I do. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, go for it.
We will be doing an NCAA 14 dynasty as sort of a through line as we do our podcast. So we asked you guys on Twitter last week to vote on which team we'd start at. We picked a 1 or 2 star team to start at as offensive coordinator. We're going to switch possessions.
Yep.
And you guys voted, just barely edging out ECU by 1 vote. A lot of people voted, but just by 1 vote. Our winner is, and our first season we will be spending as offensive coordinator at, hold on, this one.
Blazers, baby.
Blazers.
UAB. Let's go.
I think our Birmingham area ties came through on this one. I thought ECU would win because we live in North Carolina, and, a lot of ECU, I guess they're purple and gold bleeders around here, but no, UAB came through strong. People love the Blazers.
Yeah, I think your mic's hitting your shirt, by the way.
Oh, am I scruffing up again?
Yeah, you're scruffing up a little bit.
Well, I'll fix that real quick.
That's okay. I'll take over for a sec while you fix that.
Yeah, I've been talking a lot.
But yeah, no, I think this is going to be super fun. ECU, we had a huge contingent and a lot of votes for that, but I do think the Birmingham faithful came through. They want to see the Blazers.
We're going to see the Blazers. I'm going to show you our roster a little bit, see what we're going to be dealing with just as a little precursor. So here's a little thing. I downloaded the very latest rosters as of today. Now, the brilliant people at Operation Sports are still getting it fully finalized. So there were some teams that weren't updated, and one of those, oddly enough, they usually have all the main teams by now, but one of them was Ohio State. So they still had like C.J. Stroud. So I'll actually show you this just to make it I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be super realistic because some of the rosters are messed up. But check this out. So Ohio State had C.J. Stroud and a bunch of other players. So I went through and renamed them and just moved them down.
So you shifted.
So I made Texie Elverton. That's the core. This is what C.J. Stroud was, and there were some others. Jackson Smith and Jigba turned into Franz Spierfield.
But
let's go back to the Blazers because that's
Franz from Rockwall, Texas, not from Frankfurt, Germany.
I was trying to set it up. So a couple things. UAB, where'd they go?
While you get that set up, thank you for everybody who voted. Our teams were UMass, UTSA, ECU, and UAB. We had over 26 votes, I think.
I think we had maybe
we had a good number of votes, so we appreciate it. But yeah, now you're looking at the the roster, the lineup that we're going to be rocking.
Jacob Zeno.
Oh, dude, he's so
from San
slow.
Antonio.
Oh, he's so
we're not gonna be doing a lot
slow,
of read
dude.
options. But they've got a quick little running back, good acceleration.
Jacob,
He's
if you're
small.
watching this, I'm sorry.
He's a speed back.
I didn't mean to call you slow.
It's the roster, the people that made the roster.
Oh, God. We are already getting some just absolute dynamite questions in the comments. Should we just fire these away?
Yeah, I mean, while I'm just scrolling through so people see our roster.
Tyler asked, will my dad finally be correct? Is Miami legit? Dude, Tyler Van Dyke looked good.
He did.
He looked really
5
good.
touchdowns for him.
I think it was a combination of Miami looking good, Cristobal kind of getting his system in place a little bit where he wants it. It's a shame Andrew Green's not tuned in right now. He'd be all over this conversation.
He would be all over this conversation.
It's all about the U for Andrew Green. But yeah, no, I think it was a combination of that and Texas A&M. So I heard a conspiracy theory that Jimbo's still calling plays. It's Jimbo's playbook, but he's letting Petrino actually call the physical play.
Yeah, put his.
And I actually, going back and watching that, have you watched the highlight of that?
I mean, we watched bits and pieces of that game together. I saw most of the big plays.
Greeny's listening. Shout out, by the way.
Oh, what's up, Greeny?
But yeah, no, I think it was a combination of that. And God, do I wish Alabama would have gotten Tyler Van Dyke after watching that game.
I mean, that would have solved
College
a lot
football,
of
man.
problems.
Listen, this is we said it off the top. We're not going to mope. We're not here to be depressed. We're merely examining something. And yes, we had a rooting interest.
But I am here to be honest. I am here to
Yeah,
be
no,
very.
absolutely.
We've been doing this podcast for 9 years. First time streaming it and you seeing our faces while we do it, but this is the hardest I will ever be on Alabama as a program.
I think
that's fair.
Yeah, I think, and you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. Let's rip the Band-Aid. Let's talk about it.
So while we're going to get into the podcast, I'm going to go ahead and start our first game.
Yeah, go for it.
Another note was I tried to get as many of the conferences down to this year. Now, this is a 2013 game.
Yeah,
so every
we're not.
team was an FBS school at that time. A couple teams weren't in there. They've added a few, the revamped people like James Madison, but
Shout
it's
out Leslie
close.
Martin. Yeah.
All the Power Fives are up to date. Most of the G5, but not all of it. So if you see something wonky, just remember me on September 12th saying this. If you don't,
Yeah.
So I'm going to start the game, and we'll start doing the podcast portion. We also printed out like a docket. I feel like a news anchor.
Yeah, this
with
is
our
very
script.
very official
Really
of
good,
us.
yeah.
This is probably the first time we've ever printed these out.
We've definitely the first time we've ever printed.
Joe says JJ for Heisman, by the way.
Oh, he's winning it. He's winning it.
He's got to. We're not going to go over. I don't want to go over stats. I don't want to look at that. I want to look at big picture type stuff for Bama, Texas.
I don't have my normal. I usually have my own custom playbook on offense, and I don't have it, so I just made a spread. I hope that's cool.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm okay with that. There's Brock Bowers. Shout out. You want to go ahead and flip the screens for us?
I thought I'd keep it. Yeah, we'll do
Nice. I like that. So you have written down here what happened. I can tell you what happened. Texas came in with a more flexible defensive game plan. And I think that was the main crux of it. I think Alabama is a team this year and I still think they can be this team this year, that wants to establish a ground game before anything else. Mm-hmm. And the first 2 drives were able to, and we're moving the ball quite soundly. And then Texas realized that it was time to make Jalen Milroe throw. And we said it last week. If Jalen Milroe can complete some passes, we're going to be just fine. And instead, he stared down receivers.
Yeah.
He absolutely stared down receivers. He never looked off his first option. And he threw 2 picks at what I think are the worst times to throw a pick, which is right off the top of the game because it sets the tone. You can think back to the 2018 national title, Bama versus Clemson.
Yeah.
Tua threw a pick 6 on the first drive, right? And I think it just kind of set the tone for the whole game. And then it happened again towards the end of the game when Alabama really needed to get on the board. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't think Jalen Milroe is the answer. I think I told you at halftime, I said that I thought it was time for Alabama to switch quarterbacks. They didn't do it, and they lost.
So one of the things that happened in this game, we're going to see how good I am at podcasting while playing NCAA. One of the two things is going to get worse here. Oh, we broke some tackles.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, there we go.
We're breaking a lot of tackles. Alabama's defensively. Now, they were bend but don't break up until the fourth quarter. But the problem was they didn't do anything. Alabama did a terrible job making Texas uncomfortable.
Yeah.
At all. They caused 0 pressures, no tackles for loss the entire game. Every offensive play that Texas ran went either for no gain or, more often than not, for positive
By the way,
yardage.
Love that this is your second play call this season.
Yes, it is. Boom. sideline.
Oh my gosh.
You just knew he was going to be there.
Mario Rudolph is always going to catch.
So I put really hard sliders on. So one of the things you have to do with these sliders, if you don't have a quarterback that's like 80 something or above, is you really have to get your quarterback in a rhythm with quick throw. I played a lot of NCAA.
No, I can tell.
No, but they didn't get any tackles for a lot. Quinn Ewers could sit back there and do whatever he wanted the entire game, and come on. The entire game, he sat back there and did literally whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
He could pick apart the defense.
Yep.
And then we saw Alabama go back to what they were last year. We kept saying it. And I'm going to talk about a little bit more of that in depth in a little bit. But my question for you is, what do you make of and every Alabama fan's asking this week, what do you make of the quote-unquote dynasty as it stands?
I think Josh Pate had a really good quote about dynasties last year where he said a dynasty doesn't move like a freight train, it moves like an iceberg. Mm-hmm. Where until you're several years away from a dynasty, where it is years and years, you can sit back and say, oh, okay, that is when that ended, and then, But I'm going to be honest with you. Until Nick Saban leaves Alabama, and Alabama is clearly out of the playoff picture, we do this for 3 to 5 years, then yeah, I think it's safe to call it dead. But I'm not going to sit here and say that. I think there's still a heartbeat here. And listen, if I tell anybody next year, hey, I think Alabama has a shot to the playoff, no one is going to look at me like I'm insane.
No, absolutely not.
Alabama's got a very deep recruiting class that's coming in next year. They've got a lot of skill position guys coming in. Julian Sand's going to be a great quarterback for Alabama. At that point, Lonergan will have had a full year of practice and work and reps and getting stronger and things of that nature. So no, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's dead or it's, I definitely think it's dying. But I told you after the 2020, and we said it on this podcast, after the 2020 national title, this dynasty's in its twilight.
Yeah.
We knew this was happening. This is how it works. College football, and I've said this for a long time, college football is cyclical, okay? It's not something that you can just, bad read. It's a bad read on the read option.
TV. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I read that perfectly. No, I'm kidding.
But I think it's something that we're gonna sit back one day and we're gonna say, hey, it probably started its decline in 2020, and then whether or not it ended in 2023 or it ended in 2022, whenever it is. I mean,
that's a pick.
2 years ago, Alabama was in the national championship game,
right,
and had a lead in the fourth quarter, right? And I think. So no, I'm not ready to say that it's dead. I'm going to say that it's on life support right now. But I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about whether or not you just dropped everything.
I just dropped my mouse.
That was tough.
You keep playing. I'm gonna grab my mouse.
I'm not going to sit here and just say that it's dead. I just refuse to do that because I think there's a lot of legs left. The greatest college football coach in history is still on campus in Tuscaloosa, and until he leaves, there's no reason to panic.
So I kind of wanted to do a little diatribe of my own on the Alabama dynasty, as it were. And my answer to that question, the same one I asked you, what's your take on the dynasty at present time, is it depends on how loosely you want to define the term dynasty. Because for 13 years, Alabama was that team, right? They were the top dog. They were a top 3 team year in and year out. Every year, even in the big games, the big marquee, must-see games, top 10, top 15 matchups, the ones that were at nighttime, everybody's watching, everybody's rooting against Alabama. Those games, Alabama still felt like they had an 85% chance to win those, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it's that way anymore. I don't think that Alabama is that head and shoulders above everybody anymore. Yes, they are still I'm going to let myself get through this. We'll get back to the game here in a second. Alabama is still a top team. They're still a top program.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. But their days of being either the number 1 or at worst the number 3 team every single year, I think that's done. I think they'll be a top 10 to 12 team, which good luck, good news next year. That's enough to get you in the playoff. But
I also think there's something to be said about that's okay, right? You don't have to be the top dog every year. As long as you're in the conversation every 3 or 4 years, that's still a dynasty to me. And Alabama, right now, is still in the conversation.
They're still in the conversation.
If Alabama goes out and wins every single game this season, they can make it. Now, one thing that we need to do, because, again, we're students of the game, we're academics of the game, is talk about the flip side of the ball and talk about Texas.
Well, I do want to say a few more things about Alabama before we move on. Basically, my whole point was leading up, and I don't know what I just audibled to. My My whole point was, I think this is who Alabama is now, right? This is who Alabama is. And I'll say we because I'm an Alabama fan. This is who we are in big games. All right, the last 5 games, marquee games, the ones I was talking about, the big ones dating back to the Georgia National Championship that we lost. Out of the last 5 marquee games we've played, Alabama has lost 4 of them, and one of them was a 1-point win over Texas that they should have lost.
Yeah.
And I'm just turning. I gotta get used to this little lag. I'm not gonna lie. But you got the Georgia game. You've got the Tennessee game last year, the LSU game last year, and then Texas on Saturday. Alabama is the team that goes out and kicks themselves in the butt and doesn't play well and gets penalties and plays down to their opponent. Or this is who they are. They are not the team that just goes and leaves no doubt anymore. We haven't seen that in a while.
I'm not going to say that's who we are because I think it is still extremely early in this season to say that. Another thing that I'll say is I really hate that this game was in week 2.
Sure.
I would have loved to have seen and Texas would have gotten a lot better too. I'm not saying Alabama wins that game. I just would have liked to have seen it when a little bit more of the kinks were worked out. Now, granted, we don't get that luxury next year either because week 2, Alabama goes to Madison, Wisconsin to play Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Next year's schedule, I think, is going to be one of the hardest schedules in college football history, by the way, but we'll get to that at another time.
Try 4 verts. We haven't done one yet.
I'm going to talk about Texas for a second.
Yeah.
Steve Sarkisian is one of the best, if not the best, play caller in college football right now. The way that he is able to dissect a defense after the first quarter of play is something that we had the pleasure of having on our side at Alabama.
Yeah, for real, though.
And then, unfortunately, watched it happen to us on Saturday. But it was definitely something where he recognized that anytime he could get single-man coverage, he had a good shot of throwing a completion, as long as Quinn Ewers didn't overthrow his receiver, which he did quite a bit, by the way. Quinn Ewers had a lot of overthrows on Saturday.
Yes.
And that's something that we need to keep in mind. Tyler asks, what's changed with Bama in those big games, other teams and coaching staffs leveling up, or a drop-off in Tuscaloosa?
Great question.
Thank you, Tyler.
So I think what we're seeing is really the culmination of the way the game has changed and the way that the parity has leveled out, especially the very, very top. The NIL and the transfer portal, teams like Texas, who have traditionally the last 15 years been probably 2 steps behind Alabama, can flip that roster so quick with talent, and you were seeing that kind of catch up to Alabama. Alabama doesn't have the same type of play. You've seen a lot of that on Twitter this week. People calling out the Bama standard, ex-players talking about how a lot of that is just the nature of college football now. That's just the way things are going.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And Joe made a good point. First time that Alabama hasn't had, or that Alabama's QB play has been underwhelming, and that's a huge part that we're going to talk about next.
Yes, Milroe's going to be a big part of this discussion.
By the way, for those of you who think that we may not have seen this coming, you can go back to Twitter at @PI_podcast, go to August 31st. I had Quinn Ewers winning the Heisman. This game is one of the reasons why. The last 5 quarterbacks
you nailed that
who
call.
beat Alabama and Tuscaloosa all won the Heisman.
3, I think it's 3 of the last 5.
3 of the last 5.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you're right.
But yes, that's still a crazy stat.
But that's and I really saw them kind of pulling that game out. Now, last week I said that Alabama, I thought Jalen Milroe was a lot better.
I'm going to Milroe this and I'm locking in A.
But like
switching out. See, you just go through your progressions and you'd still
and then
throw a touchdown.
Throw an incompletion. But no, I think you're right. I do feel bad for Milroe.
Yeah.
This is not something that I'm like, screw that guy. No, he doesn't want to be doing what he's doing. And he showed some really great throws the other day.
He had a few good throws.
He had one drive where it wasn't just the bombs that he was throwing. He was throwing intermediate passes. He was making the right decision. He was getting outside of the pocket when he needed to. I just don't think he was ready to take over the reins here. I'm not sure that it's a good fit. And I told you at halftime it was time to move on, and we didn't do it. But again, if you don't think that Nick Saban wants what's best for college football, go back and look at his comments about parity. That we needed more parity in college football.
Yeah.
It was going to be good for the sport. And now he's getting it, and he's eating it, right? But he still said that was going to be best for the sport, and I agree with him.
He's not making. So can we get into the Milroe discussion? Because I've got a lot of things I want to say about Jalen Milroe, and I don't know, but I might be ready to be. I'm very close, if not already there. I want to play 2 quarterbacks on Saturday. That much I do know.
Oh, I don't even want to play him at all.
I want to see Buckner in the game, but I almost want to start Buckner. And here's my thing about Jalen Milroe. We've got 2 things that we've never had at Alabama with him before. He is the most dynamic, best athlete Alabama's ever had at that position.
Yes.
Right? The way he runs, he's a unicorn. But we've also never had a quarterback that turns the ball over, at least going back to John Parker Wilson, that turns it over the way he does.
Yeah.
We have always had good quarterbacks that protect the ball. That has been a staple of Alabama. Jake Coker, probably even the worst of all of them, still protected the ball really well.
Yes.
Right?
Well, and that used to be the knock on Alabama quarterbacks, is they're just game managers. Well, now, if Alabama only had a game manager, we'd be just fine.
I'm just not sure that Jalen Milroe is going to get it done. See, Jalen Milroe could be a good quarterback, but here's the thing. He only has the bonus features you look for in a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
He has the arm strength, the speed, all the freak stuff. But the things like reading a defense, going through progressions, not turning the ball over, making good decisions.
Oh, my gosh. Our quarterback is bad.
Sorry,
that was a stream issue. That was a comeback route, and he overthrew it by about 16 yards.
Well, we've got the sliders down, and he's a 77
Oh, boy.
overall.
That was
so
tough.
That's going to happen.
That
so
was
we're on
tough.
a new team.
All right. Sorry about that. Keep going.
No, but he doesn't have the things that you need to be a good quarterback.
Right.
The decision making, the accuracy, all of that is lacking and wanting, and he doesn't have it. I need to switch the side of the field this goes to. I hate it when I have to do that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So he has all the bonus features, and he'll make, he could be an elite quarterback, but you have to have at least the bare minimum of knowing how to throw the ball.
Yeah, and I think that's his struggle. No, I would love to see Buckner take snaps Saturday. I don't really care if we see Milroe again. I think we tried it and it doesn't work, and we need to move on. I don't blame Saban for not trying Buckner. I know that probably would have been more of a drastic switch. I think this is more of a commentary on how good Tua was at Alabama, to the point where Saban had that much confidence to do that in a national championship game. And that's not an indictment on Jalen Hurts, who is a great quarterback, was a great quarterback, just wasn't working that night, and that happened. But yeah, no, I think that's definitely what Alabama needs to do. I think if Buckner comes out and struggles, I think it needs to be Simpson. If Simpson comes out and struggles, let's go ahead and give it to Lonergan. What's going to happen? What's going to happen that hasn't already happened?
This quarterback is bad, by the way.
It's not
quarterback
good.
is not doing
It's not
well.
good. Let's just say Brick and I might be hitting the portal this offseason. Or Trent Dilford is going to fire us.
That being said, I do think Milroe won the competition in fall camp. I do think he played better in fall camp, but
2 things can be true.
things change when the Bullets go live, right?
Yes.
And we have to see if we can get a quarterback in there, because we're going to need a guy
Oh, my
that...
God. Sorry.
Are we losing? Did Buffalo score twice?
Yeah, no. We're down 10-7.
No.
Not a great...
It's almost halftime.
Not a great first game for the Blazers, not going to lie.
Well, we're going to be fine. But I think because to mask up the faults on defense in big games, we need a guy that's not going to throw it to the other team.
Yes.
And that's that. So what else do we have in the Alabama part of this? You said you have them losing 2 more games.
I do.
I think I do have them at least losing 1 more. But we'll see. I will say this. I will say this is the silver lining for Alabama. Nick Saban's only gone undefeated twice. This isn't the first time they've lost early in the season. This isn't the first time they've lost early in the season, and the entire country, all at one time, decided to jump off and stop caring.
Oh, that was 6. Sorry.
So they can still do it, but there's a lot.
On that note, I will ask you a question, and then I want to answer it, which is how we kind of do questions back and forth, I think.
Sure.
Is normally we just want to answer the questions we ask the other one. I want to ask you, what does a successful season for Alabama look like at this point?
I mean, I'm going to be harsh. I'm going to say it's Alabama. Like, a successful season is winning the national championship.
Okay, well, that was
anything beyond that is a disappointment.
I won't say that. I think bouncing back, showing, let's face it, showing recruits, hey, this isn't who we are anymore.
Yeah.
These last 2 seasons were outliers. Alabama is not the team that comes out and loses games in the regular season. What does that mean? What does that look like? I think it is wins over your rivals, Tennessee, LSU, and Auburn. Mm-hmm. And I think it is a statement victory in a bowl game. And if we're being honest, a New Year's Six game. I don't think a Cheez-It Bowl victory means anything, right? I think this needs to be an Orange Bowl. This needs to be, I don't actually remember what the playoff games are this year, so I'm sorry. It needs to be a New Year's Six game. Last year it was a Sugar Bowl dominant victory over Kansas State that said, hey, look, this is the standard. Next year, this is what we're going to be. And I think that needs to happen. I think that's a successful season. I think an unsuccessful season is a lot of losses or close wins against teams that that we don't need to be losing to. And I think I think a loss to a team that beat Alabama last year is more detrimental than anything. I think a loss to Tennessee would be extremely detrimental.
That'd be huge.
I think a loss to LSU would be extremely detrimental, and I think a loss to Texas A&M would really hurt as well. So it's just it's going to take some time to. Okay, I definitely gave that off.
You got a face mask. So
it's gonna take some time for sure for Alabama to get right, but I think they will get right, and I think when they do, those wins are going to come back.
I think from a national media perspective, if Alabama doesn't figure it out and find a way to make the playoff, or at least make it to the SEC title game at the end of the year, it's gonna be rough on them. I think
and
everybody will be declaring recruiting. Everybody. I mean, the national perception is how when that changes, that'll definitely speed up the death.
I don't know. I think
anything.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think having a Nick Saban trump card kind of helps with that.
It does, but
because if I have a son right now and you come to my living room and you say, hey, he can go play for Brian Kelly or Nick Saban, here is their track record.
He's probably choosing Deion Sanders. I mean, let's be honest. That's probably where it's going. Hey, let's move on to other games.
Yeah, let's get out. Thank you for listening to Alabama's the first section. I'm done talking about them. Are you done talking about them?
We are. We're good. We'll naturally kind of get back into Alabama as we go along. But there we go. Nice run.
I'm never.
We talked a little bit about Miami, but I put a couple questions on here. So let's ask. Given their win against Texas A&M, are you buying them as a threat in the ACC after this win?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You bet your butt I am. You know
what?
what? Because it's a more fun world when Miami's good at college football, because it's either going to be one of two things. It's going to be extremely fun, or it's going to be chaotic disaster. Sorry to all of our Miami fans who are listening. That is also going to be extremely fun to watch on the outside. Look, if people get to enjoy Alabama losing, I get to enjoy the chaos that comes with others losing.
Absolutely.
As well. But I like Tyler Van Dyke. I am buying him. I am buying Cristobal as a coach. I think his guys are bought in. I almost just threw another pick. Our quarterback is terrible. I will say that Clemson, sort of Clemsoning again, I think is a huge factor in that. But yeah, no, I'm definitely buying them. I think it's a lot more fun. I think we could be in for a good ride. Oh boy, threw that right to him.
They're killing us.
I'm running the ball for the rest of the game. Yeah, no, I think. All right, let's see. Norvell going to run through the ACC with the Noles. Yes, I agree with you. Thank you, Joe. But I don't think that discounts what Miami's doing or has done.
I'm not ready to declare Miami's back or anything yet, but I do.
The question was, are they a threat? And yeah, I absolutely think they're a threat.
Let's throw that away. Let's get out of that play.
I definitely thought he was open, but go for it. I think Jordan Travis is obviously the guy to beat in the ACC right now, but I think if there's a guy who's going to do it, it's a fifth-year senior in Tyler Van Dyke.
So the other question that has to be asked from this game is, what's the minimum that Jimbo has to do for the rest of this year to keep himself off of the hot seat?
Jimbo needs to upset one of the opponents that he has left on his schedule, be it Alabama, be it LSU. Whoever it is, he needs to make that upset happen. I don't think he can lose another unexpected game like this.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people did have Texas A&M pegged to win this game.
Oh, yeah. Most people did.
And, yeah, I don't think that can happen anymore. Oh, my gosh.
What can you do?
Oh,
this is all just the sliders.
Oh, man, he's bad.
But I'm not going to make him less.
Yeah, no, I think Jimbo his back is against a wall. His back is absolutely against a wall. I think he's desperate. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Petrino is calling plays. I think it is Jimbo's playbook, and he's letting Petrino call from a set number of plays. But I don't think Petrino has been given the reins yet, and I think that is going to be detrimental to that program.
Let's go to the other ACC game that'll kind of segue into this well. North Carolina beat App State 40-34 in overtime. Now it's kind of a pedestrian day for Drake May. He wasn't awful.
So can I go off about this right quick?
Yes. Let me set it up. He was 21-30. He had 208 yards. They had 234 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns from Omarion Hampton, which probably explains why he didn't go to the air as often. But say what you want to say.
Drake May has not been as advertised this season.
He hasn't.
And a lot of people want to argue with me about that, and that's fine. I'm not saying he's bad. But the 2 picks he threw against South Carolina were ugly. And then he had a lot of questionable decisions outside of it. Hold on. 6.
We needed.
Oh my gosh, he didn't go. But yeah, no, I don't think he's been the lights out 5-star certified dude that everybody has projected. And the App State game kind of proved that. That is a team that you need to beat, especially at home. You need to beat App State soundly.
Yes.
Soundly.
Yes.
You need to destroy App State. And this is 2 years in a row where he hadn't done it.
So here's what North Carolina's done so far this year.
By the way, I scored our first touchdown.
What do you think?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I forgot.
But no. Okay, so, and they missed the extra point.
Okay, well, that's why I was confused. It said 13.
They missed the extra point. Yeah, so their win over South Carolina was impressive. I'll give them that. That was an impressive win, going away in the late stages of that game.
I mean, I guess, but Spencer Rattler was terrible at the end of that game.
Well, there was a reason. I mean, the UNC defense was the reason he was terrible. I'm giving them that credit there.
Oh my gosh. How is he throwing these darts all of a sudden? All right, just for those of you who are listening to the pod, it's 17-13 Buffalo with 1:15 in the third quarter. We just scored our second touchdown of the season. Congratulations, Coach. And our quarterback's terrible.
This is Dilfer's debut, by the way.
He is very
bad.
bad.
They have the new protective stadium modded into the game, though. That's
pretty cool.
Really good work by the revamped crew.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be Legion Field. I assumed it would be.
But yes, sorry. UNC's 2-0, and nobody can take that from him. I think Drake May, by the way, I think is a great quarterback. I just want to see better decision-making from him.
So UNC's still doing what I said they always do, and I said it last week on the podcast. They play down to their opponent, right? They played up for the big primetime game of the week against South Carolina. App State comes to town, and it's a sleepwalk again. I didn't call a good play there. So, I don't know. So, rank the 3 teams, and I'm sure you'll put FSU 1 after the first 2 weeks, but FSU, Miami, North Carolina.
Duke,
that's a good point.
I don't think they're better than UNC. Calm down, Tar Heels people, calm down. That's not what I'm saying. I think that they're a very good football team, and they're a lot better than we gave them credit for at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
I think Mike Elko is a lot better of a coach, and I do not see him at Duke next year. I don't know what job he's going to get. I don't know what job he's going to be offered, but I don't think he's at Duke.
Yeah, I don't know there's any way he could be at Duke. He's going to get a big time.
So, I mean, Duke's quarterbacks were perfect Saturday. Did I tell you that?
28 of 28.
28 for 28. That's insane. I think Duke belongs in that conversation. I think right now this is a 4-horse race, and the 4 teams are, that was ugly. Oh, we dodged a bullet there. I think the 4 teams are UNC, Duke, Florida State, and Miami. And that is just what we all predicted at the beginning of the season. But yeah, no, UNC's, hey, look, like I said, they're 2-0. Nobody can take it from them. Their defense is much improved, too. And I think that's huge. That is a huge thing for them this year.
Another good game, and the score doesn't indicate it, but Ole Miss beat Tulane 37-20. The score was a lot closer up until the end than the final score looked like. This was a good game, a hard-fought game that Tulane led a solid amount of, basically through towards the end of that second half.
Yeah, yep. Pete Golding defense, baby.
Bama plays them in 2 weeks. What odds are we giving Ole Miss here on an upset?
I can give you a much better answer of that after Saturday when I see who trots out on the field and takes snaps for Alabama at quarterback. Mm-hmm. If it is Jalen Milroe, I give Ole Miss a very good chance of winning that game in Tuscaloosa.
I think if Alabama can't figure out how to affect the quarterback better than they did to Quinn Ewers, Jackson Dart's going to do a lot of similar things.
That's one thing I will say. I do not think Ole Miss's oh boy.
I don't know why I threw that.
I don't think Ole Miss's offensive line is as good as Texas's.
Yeah.
I think with 2 weeks under their belts, Kevin Steele's defense is going to start clicking a lot better. Mm-hmm. Caleb Downs was also very ill in the second half. I don't know if we talked about that. And I think that's a huge part of that defense this year, which is scary. It's both scary because he's a true freshman, and it's great, right? Because he's a true freshman, that's awesome. But yeah, no, I don't see that. I don't see the defense being as much of an issue as you do. I'm not saying you're discredited in how you feel, you're absolutely right. It's been pretty despicable. But I will say I see them settling in a little bit better. I definitely, right now, I definitely could see a world where Ole Miss, sorry, I just giggled because I realized I'm about to go on a 7-minute drive and win the game.
Please do, because I've thrown 3 picks, and I'm very rusty at
I
this
think
game.
I think that excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm trying to run the clock out of this game. I just realized our entire offense needs to go through our
I'll move on to the next game.
No, hold on, one more thing.
Sorry, yeah.
I think they have a good shot at it. I don't think it is going to be as close of a game as it was last year. That will go one of two ways. That could either mean that Ole Miss is just that much better and beats Alabama pretty handedly, or Alabama's defense steps up. They get their quarterback situation. Again, a game manager will win out for Alabama. Mm-hmm. That is what they need. Establish the run, and they need somebody who won't turn the ball over, and I think they can win out.
Next game, Oregon beating Texas Tech 38-30.
Oh, good. Gosh, this game.
I was surprised because I would have taken, and I did put money on it correctly. I picked them to cover, but I thought Oregon was going to win this by way more. The spread was only 6, which was surprising. I guess I was underrating Texas Tech.
Texas Tech's a good squad.
Oregon had a 20-point fourth quarter to, I guess, come back and win this game. They were losing. Are you surprised or worried, or what do you make of this game?
I'm a little surprised. I mean, it's Bo Nix, so you never really.
No,
this
that's
is
true.
Such a bad play call by me. We're gonna get out and we're gonna. Yeah. I think. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think Bo Nix is just a very odd creature. I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback like him where it's so obvious that in a big game he's going to show out and be that guy, and then Oregon is playing Texas Tech in week 2. Surely Bo Nix won't look awful, and then of course he looks awful.
Did he? I thought he had a pretty good game. I don't remember his stats. Here's the thing.
It's 4th and 6 from midfield. Can I go for it? Oh, no. There you go.
Hopefully they don't score.
Oh, boy.
Oh, good.
All right, they didn't score. You got 4.5 minutes left. We're down by 4.
Commit a little more to the run. No, but technically Oregon did they covered. They did what they were supposed to do, which is I'm just shocked that was covering for them against Texas Tech. That's
I was
really
more shocked by the next game you have written down here. Utah only beat Baylor by 7. Now, granted, Cam Rising still isn't back for Utah. Yes. He should be back. They're hoping he's back this week.
Yeah.
But that game was surprising to me. Maybe and this is what we do early in seasons. Right, we sit here and we go, oh well, such and such beat such and such, and then it's dumb. Yeah. Maybe Texas State is better than we thought.
Could be.
They've got T.J. Finley, former Auburn and former LSU quarterback, who is, I think he's found a good groove in the offense that he's in. So maybe Baylor was a little bit better than we thought because Texas State was better than we thought, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Utah, I think, can still win the Pac-12, but they've got to get Cam Rising back, and he needs to be Cam Rising.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think that offense clicks without him.
So Utah, as far as if they get Cam Rising back, what they've been able to I don't want to use the word escape, but they've been able to get by without him for 2 wins, and that's huge because if he comes back and he plays well, what kind of contender status are you putting him at?
I think their ceiling is a 10-win season this year. I haven't seen, oh my gosh, what a throw. I haven't seen, that's a first down for UAB, 3:52 left, down by 4. I think.
Actually, the camera's blocking, so thank you for saying
that. Yeah, you can't really see what's going on.
I can't see the.
I think you have 3 timeouts, by the way. That.
We're going for it all here.
Utah really.
This is the 15.
They've shown us time and time again that they're a team that just can't quite hit that lip.
Yes.
And go over that hump.
Yes.
If they do that this year, they are set up to be a very, very good Pac-12 team. Excuse me, Big Ten team.
Big Ten team.
And contend and really give people like Ohio State and the Michigans of the world some headaches. But this is a big year for them. I think their ceiling is 10 wins, unfortunately, because like I just said, they kind of can't win the big one.
Yeah.
And this year they have a couple of big ones, and they always seem to slip up in a small one too. And until they can start righting those wrongs, I'm just not sure I'm buying them. So they're not a contender.
They're a dangerous team.
Nationally, I think they're a contender in the Pac-12 in a sense this year that they can go and upset somebody like they did last year.
Yeah, they did it last year. There's no reason they can't. The last game that I have to discuss sort of a little bit at length was this crazy sort of Notre Dame NC State game where you have a little bit more insight. You were talking to people that were there. Tell us what happened.
That was a super strange game. There was a lot of lightning. They evacuated everybody to PNC Arena, which, if you don't know, is across the street from Carter Friendly Stadium where the Pack play. Shout out to Colleen. Shout out to Cam. Shout out to Heather. All three of those people, all of our friends, were at the game and had to go to PNC and then go back, and it was a huge mess. And then it was this weird sort of standoff. I don't know. It's really weird to play in Carter Finley, man. Like a lot of teams go there and they just don't really succeed because it's such a strange place to play. By the way, UAB just took the lead. Way to go, Brick.
I started to get a little nervous. I'm actually going to watch this extra point because the CPU keeps missing all our kicks.
I think that, oh gosh, we're going to lose this 2019.
No, the Super Sim misses kicks way more often than IRL. Okay. So a lot of times I'll just
so yeah, we're up 20-17, by the way. But yeah, I think it was a very strange game. And then finally Notre Dame kind of woke up and took back over. I'm not sure how I feel about Notre Dame. I know Sam Hartman's good. I don't know about the rest of the team.
Big 4th and 10 here, by the way.
Big 4th and 10 for the Blazers. What do you think? Do you think Sam Hartman is the only reason Notre Dame's good, or do you think that's actually a good football team?
I think it's a program gain. That was big for us. That was a program gaining steam. I was playing, and I might have missed a couple things you said there, but no. Listen, Notre Dame's got a huge path. They've got Ohio State in 2 weeks, and I think 5 weeks they've got USC. But those games are both at home. Sam Hartman is not easy, but is a direct path to both a Heisman and a playoff berth as anybody in the country right now. I mean, those 2 wins will do wonders for that resume, right? So,
I think if he can win one of those convincingly, that's ball game, by the way. I think if he can win one of those convincingly and look really, really solid doing it, that he is at least invited to New York. I will say this, and this is going to piss off some Tar Heel fans. Sam Hartman right now is what we thought Drake May was going to be.
Yeah, and I thought Sam Hartman was going to struggle a lot more, and he's not. And not only that, but he's putting up, him numbers while doing it. I mean, he's putting up really good numbers through 3 games. They've played 3 games. Everybody else has played 2. Notre Dame's played 3. I'm just going to read these ones off here. These are just other scores. I know people listening to podcasts like to hear their team's name said. So let's just name off some other. Florida State beat Southern Miss 66-13. 66 points for the Seminoles. That was a pipe dream 2 years ago. 3 years ago with Willie Taggart. Georgia, slow start, but they ended up taking down Ball State 45-3. Michigan, Ohio State. They both won 35-7, which I thought was funny, over lesser opponents.
Yeah.
USC beating Stanford 56-10. Caleb Williams, just another easy day at the ball field for him. I think they only kept him in the first half of that game. They destroyed him.
Yep.
I'll ask you. You might have some insight to this because you've got a lot of Tennessee fans around. But Tennessee 30, Austin Peay 13.
That game was. I was looking for my phone. It's right here. I want to look at the stats from that game because that one was sort of in the middle of a bunch of games, and I didn't really think I needed to pay attention to it. But Austin Peay hung around a lot later than the Governors maybe should have.
Yes.
By the way, team named the Governors. And I'm not sure if it's a Milton issue. Let me pull up these scores. I'm interested to see what Tennessee does from here on out. I'm interested to see what they do against Florida this week. That's going to be a huge game. As the Blazers win their first game, by the way. Congratulations, Coach. I
don't know how we pulled that one
Congratulations,
out.
Coach.
Oh, but I couldn't think of a name. So our coach's name is Quincy Radar. I thought it sounded
Why?
Cool. I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. We can change it. I just needed to put something in while I was setting this up.
All right, here. I'm putting that in the chat. Chat, do we like Quincy Radar? That actually, you know what? It's growing on me.
It sounded good as I typed it in. I thought
Quincy
earlier today
Radar.
This is before I even thought about NCAA, but I thought Radar would be like a cool name for somebody.
Yeah, Coach Radar. Hey, Coach Raid. Oh my gosh, Air Radar. Air Radar.
That's not bad. I don't really do much recruiting.
Tennessee was up 13-6 at half of this game. and they outscored Austin Peay 10-0 in the third quarter, and then tied them in the fourth quarter. So I don't know. Maybe Milton's just not what I thought he was. 21 for 33 for 228 and 2 touchdowns. Not a great day at the ball field, but not terrible.
I've been saying all offseason that the people that expected them to come in and be Hendon Hooker right away were going to be disappointed. Now, Tennessee's 2-0, and they've looked good.
Tennessee's 2-0.
They haven't looked as good as last year, but it's a team sort of building up to maybe a contention spot. Another game, Colorado 36, Nebraska 14. Deion blows them out of the water again. What do we take of the Buffs?
Deion struggled in the first half with this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more...
We're at Oklahoma, by the way. We're gonna do
no
this
big
one.
deal. Week 2, that's perfectly fine. We're going to play another one, right?
Yeah, we're going to play one more, and then that should probably be
but yeah, I think... oh, gosh. I think the more tape people get on Deion, the harder it's going to be for them to go out and do the things that they're doing. Now, granted, they're a good team, dude. We missed. We are going to be the first people to tell you when we miss. We missed about Jalen Milroe being back and being about that guy, and then we miss on Colorado this year, and that's okay. I also missed on LSU this year, so far. But yeah, no, I'm buying Colorado. I think they're going to have a really interesting year, man. How do you feel about them storming the field post game?
I actually didn't see that.
Yeah.
It kind of matches up with what they've been.
I'm fine with it. These people.
Sports is supposed to be fun. I'm not going to get that.
I kind of want to go on a tirade for a second.
Yeah, please.
Have you seen the Amari Niblack stuff?
I've seen it now. Yes.
What? All right. Okay. Because I can tell you and I already disagree on this. A lot of people pissed off that he was happy that. So if you don't know, Amari Niblack is a player for Alabama. He actually had a great touchdown during the Texas game. After the game, he went Instagram Live and was giddy at the amount of viewers that he had. Okay? A lot of people very upset with this, very disappointed in this, and I get that, and I understand where they're coming from. But I want to take a step back and look at an 18-year-old that just had probably one of the toughest nights of his life, right?
Sure.
Trying to find a shred of joy on social media. And I don't mind people that are saying, hey, he's not focused on what he needs to be focused on, things like that. But you have 60-year-old men now writing to him on social media about you need to be in the film room. You need to be. Shut up, dude.
Yes, that is where
where
it gets very dumb.
He wanted to have a little bit of happiness that night. Mm-hmm. And I get it. The timing was terrible. But if he does it on a Monday, who cares? Let the guy have it. I don't know. Maybe, that was a bad pass, bud.
Maybe pick 6.
No, our running back's a great tackler. He's going to do that a lot this season.
That's my 4th since the start of the stream.
So yeah, no, I just, sorry, I wanted to mention that. Look, I get it. Chat, what do you think? We're going to leave it up to chat. I know you don't like it. And like I said, I don't love it, but what I like even less is our dumb fans.
I don't mind. I agree with what you're saying about everybody wants to make a big deal out of he's not the first athlete. I mean, every athlete now has a podcast.
Would you have rather gone, he goes on Instagram Live and goes, oh man, we suck.
No,
Jalen Milroe sucks.
Every athlete has a podcast.
God,
Paul George,
leave
Draymond,
him alone.
Every
dude.
NBA player for sure, but they're Tyreek Hill.
We just fumbled. We're so toast. We're getting so fired.
You did one play.
Okay. All right. But yeah, no, I don't know. Thank you, Forrest, for saying that we should name our coach Rich French.
That's not a bad idea.
Rich French, if you're watching, what's up, dude?
Shout out. Other games, James Madison beat Virginia with a nice 36-35 win.
That was a crazy comeback.
Go
Shout
Dukes.
out Leslie Martin.
Go Leslie.
Go Dukes.
Win. I didn't watch any of this game because I was still pouting, but Auburn beat Cal 14-10.
That was a absolute rock fight. I was not pouting because I was watching. Do you even have Arizona State on here? Yeah, you do. Thank you for doing that. I was actually, I won't say I was as upset. I had gotten over Alabama losing. I kind of rage cleaned my place for 30 minutes and felt way better after.
Many times. Dolphins lost. Got to clean the house.
Got to clean the house.
I'm gonna be mean. I'm either gonna clean or I'm gonna be mean to somebody. I might as well take this anger and put it towards something fruitful.
Productive.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I rage cleaned my place. I got all cozy in bed, turned the fan on, and flipped on the forks, and the forks were taking it to him, and then gave up 1,000 yards to Gundy. Did you know that's his son's name?
No, that who's playing quarterback for Oklahoma State right now?
Yes.
How are not more people not talking about this?
I don't know.
Gunner Gundy?
I don't know.
That is, first of all, that doesn't sound like a quarterback's name. That sounds like a, I don't know, like a, what position would you say that? Like a right outside linebacker?
Gunner Gundy?
Like a guy with his hand in the dirt usually?
Yes. I would say that, or that's like a very slow, bumbling, like, fullback.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, so you've got right here through 2 weeks. Who are your top 4 teams, bud?
My top 4, I would put Texas at 1 because they just beat Alabama at home and nobody has a more impressive win yet. And I can only go by what we've seen so far this year. I'm not going by what people did last year, right? Otherwise, Georgia would still be 1. I've got Florida State at 2. They've got the other impressive win. If that wasn't,
we're going for it on 4th and 3.
Let's do it. Technically, that was a neutral site.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, there's no real science in this. It's 2 weeks. I mean, there's no right or wrong. Oh,
picked it up.
Nice. And then I got USC and Georgia. Those are the 4 teams, and in no particular order, I suppose I should say, that I would have as, you know, if I was a voter and I had to come out with a top 4, if the playoff was released in week 2 instead of like week 8 when they start doing it, those are the 4 I'd have in the playoff today.
So unbiased, I'd have Bama at 1.
Yeah, right.
No, I would say I've got Florida State as my 1. I've got Texas as my 2. I've got Georgia as my 3. And yeah, I think USC at 4 is pretty safe and sound.
Arguments can be made for Colorado. They have a ranked win. Not many teams have a ranked win.
I'm not putting Colorado in my top 25 when they were
top 4.
Excuse me, top 4. Top 4. You're right. I'm not putting them in my top 4 when they were tied with Matt Rule at Nebraska for a large majority of that game. Sorry, but no.
I mean, Georgia was tied with. I mean, they were up by what 6.5 against an inferior opponent the other day.
Look, this is about the video game.
Yes.
But our receivers are all running miles uphill. For dropped passes, this is insane.
I forgot what it's like to start at a school like
oh
this.
Oh my gosh!
With the sliders I put, and I'm gonna try not to lower them, but it's tough sledding. It really is.
Oh boy. Okay, you take that away from me.
Yeah. You take us into we've got some games here to talk about. It's a pretty bare week. There's not a ton of matchups, but there's some interesting matchups, like 5 or 6.
Oh nope. Oi, dude, we've missed huge. There is a huge storyline that is this is the perfect time. Joe, you have saved us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, please.
Thoughts on the Mel Tucker situation at Michigan State? Makes a lot more sense why so many guys jumped ship this offseason. If you don't know, go Google it. I don't even feel comfortable saying it, but essentially, Mel Tucker, as he says, misinterpreted a conversation with a sexual assault victim and thought they were having relations over the phone. Mm-hmm. He admitted to this. It's a nightmare. I don't even know where to begin on this because I couldn't believe it when I read it Sunday morning.
I don't know where to take that. I mean, it's just disappointing. It's just
so awful.
It's just another.
By the way, don't forget he's the reason that these coaches' contracts have been exploded in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah,
has it been 3 years? That's a great screen pass. Please get out of bounds before you fumble. Man, it's ugly. It's an ugly situation. It's an awful situation. It's just bad, dude. It's just bad all around.
It's especially disappointing when it's coaches. I'm a little tired of things happening like this, but it's I hate to say inevitable. It's just I forgot how slow he is. Let's truck him. Oh yes, sir.
Oh my gosh, our quarterback's a tank. No, Mel Tucker's situation is awful. I can't believe D'Antonio is coming back.
Yeah,
that's insane.
That's crazy.
But no, he should be fired. That's
and he will be
truly abhorrent. I cannot believe that. Still, at this day and age, we are having issues like this with dudes that have such an inflated ego that they feel like they can do stuff like this. It's disgusting, dude.
Mm-hmm. And yet he'll find a job.
Sure.
He'll find a job somewhere.
DJ Durkin's still working, bro.
The Celtics coach is now with the Rockets.
It's just ugly. So thank you for the question. That was the perfect time to bring that up. Oh my gosh.
They're getting open this game. They're getting more open than they were last. Except my pick earlier.
Okay.
Next week on the podcast, I will not be throwing these interceptions, and we can keep talking about games.
Oh my gosh. Okay, South Carolina, Georgia, 27.5. Yeah, I think Georgia's going to stomp South Carolina at home, which means Spencer Rattler's about to throw for 600 yards and a win.
27.5 is a lot for a conference, but I think they cover.
They're covering that.
South Carolina's been a huge disappointment so far. They played better in week 1 than they did in week 2 in a loss. Maybe.
Did they win Saturday?
I actually don't remember.
Upset alert you have written. Minnesota at UNC. UNC's a 7.5 point. I will not say upset alert.
I'm looking for the upsets. So I put one there.
I will say Minnesota covers.
And the reason I put that is because we keep seeing North Carolina play down to their opponent. I'm cheesing here by making the defense creep in. I know that, but I'm going to do it.
This is 6. This is 6.
Yes, it is. Oh, not quite.
Not quite 6, but good enough.
That was a little cheesy. But, no, it's just because I think with North Carolina being what they've been doing, which is playing down to their opponent, they are any given week at risk of being upset.
Yeah, absolutely.
So against a team like Minnesota, who they're not comfortable seeing a lot, they don't see all the time, I think there's a decent chance we see that upset.
Yeah. Tennessee at Florida in the Swamp. Tennessee is a 6.5 point favorite. I don't see this being an upset. I do see this being a game where at the end, Tennessee has a lot more questions than they have answers.
Yeah.
I do see Tennessee covering, but I won't be surprised at all. Now, granted, Graham Mertz is awful. He is so bad. But that is a rivalry game. Mm-hmm. That is an early rivalry game after Tennessee did not look good against Austin Peay. However, that being said, I could definitely see a world where Tennessee says, okay, no more last week.
Yeah.
Let's go out and curb stomp.
I think what I'm afraid of with Tennessee right now is they are no longer. I'm just running 3 times.
I don't care.
I'm
Good.
not passing right
I
here.
wish Bill O'Brien.
I will throw a pick on this play.
If Bill O'Brien would have done that, we would have won the national championship.
Read option should score here, right? No. Last year, the target wasn't on Tennessee's back. They're not sneaking up on anybody this year. They are a known commodity, right?
6.
And so,
way to go, coach.
7. Are they now a team that has the makeup of a team that could sleep through and misjudge an opponent like they could with Florida? Because they're probably looking a little past Florida the way Florida started. They could be, if they are that team.
I think if it wouldn't have been for them being so underwhelming against Austin Peay, I'd probably agree with you. But I think they're going to want to right a lot of those wrongs. And I do think they'll get the win. I do think they'll cover. But I think this very well could be a game where Tennessee's going, okay, what's going on?
I just think Tennessee hates Florida so much that they won't sleepwalk through this. I actually would pick them to cover. I would have them winning this game by more than 10.
Duke is a 19-point favorite over Northwestern, and I am taking them covering.
Yeah, I didn't put any discussion there.
I am taking them covering.
When's the last time you've seen Duke against a Power 5
We have the
team?
ball inside the red zone again.
I think we got a turnover somehow.
UAB's defense, man.
Yeah, we gotta punch this in for a touchdown. We can win this game. I threw a pick and that was disappointing, but other than that,
we're winning this game. We're beating number 19 Oklahoma in their first game of the season.
No, it's great. Like, when is the last time Duke was a 19-point favorite over a Power 5 team?
They may have been at one point last season. Oh, Power 5 team? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they've beaten cupcakes by that, but against a Power 5, especially a Big Ten. I don't know Northwestern, the dregs of the Big Ten, but you know. It's 19 points against a Power 5 team and your Duke. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think so too.
Bama is minus 32 in South Florida, right?
I think that's a lot more about South Florida.
How does Alabama respond Saturday? That's what I'm asking.
I think it's a lot more about South Florida than it is Alabama, that point total. If you think that's huge, I don't disagree with you. I think South Florida is that bad.
No, my question is, how does Alabama respond?
Oh, dude, he just dropped it again. You're going to be running so many stairs on Monday, bro.
Watch that field goal.
I think... I think Alabama responds well. I think they establish the ground game a lot better. I think the defense settles in a lot better. I am not sure if they're covering. I'm going to be honest with you. I could see them winning by 20. I do not see them winning by 32.
I see that. I think they will be right at that cover line.
Now, granted, they beat the daylights out of MTSU a couple weeks ago, and I'm not sure that this MTSU team wouldn't beat this USF team. Yeah. I think they are that bad. But
right, I accidentally started it late, so the super sim got me a penalty, guys. So I've got to get 1st and 15 here.
Yeah, well, you're gonna get it.
But we got the ball back.
Well, you're gonna get it. We have you have a very interesting question written here, which is not who starts at quarterback.
Who finishes the game?
Who finishes the game? I think it's Buckner. I seriously see a world where, he just got it annihilated blindside. By the way, Blazers down 17-10, 2.5 minutes left in the first half. I'd be okay going down 4 at halftime against Oklahoma. If you can only squeak out a field goal, I'm okay with that.
I am going to call some sort of screen here.
I love this call by Joe. Joe says Kansas State, Missouri, upset watch.
I had that on the... Yeah, I've got that on the week 3 games on the side of our screen. Those are ones that we can talk about now that we've got still a half to stall, because all the stuff on our docket now are gone. So we're just gonna.
That game's in Columbia. Mm-hmm. Kansas State is a 5-point favorite. I have not watched a lot of Kansas State this year. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I do know that Missouri's picked it up a lot since last year. I think they're kind of starting to buy into Eli Drinkwitz. I can't believe I've just said that sentence. But I could definitely see a world where Missouri wins this game. Absolutely.
We need them to not score here. And they did. There you go.
Let's say
we can win this.
Okay. So let's say this.
We can also talk NFL now that our docket's up.
Oh God, I don't want to talk about the
you
NFL.
Probably don't. Yeah.
Dude,
I would love to.
Oh my gosh, the Bills are so. I know you want. Okay, can we talk about Tua?
Please.
Okay, we're getting creamed this game.
We're going to come back and win this.
Dilfer is just letting our guys have it right now.
Yes, he is.
All right. Tua threw arguably one of the best balls I've ever seen him throw, and I have seen him throw some absolute dimes.
He threw 2 on the same drive.
Dilfer's dimes, if you will.
Dilfer's dimes. He threw... Okay, so there was a 3rd down throw to Tyreek Hill where he was running forward.
Yep.
And Hill had a step, but he just... Yeah, there you go. Good call. Anyway, he threw it. You've seen it. It was that last drive that helped set up the touchdown. Then the touchdown, the fade route to Hill that just... I don't know how he put that ball there and where he placed that ball. How it got through. It still fools me. That was the best.
Oh my gosh.
Either that or the Ravens game were the 2 best games of his career. But no, it was it was really cathartic because of the last 3-4 years of being compared to Justin Herbert. To go out there, beat him at home, and look that good doing it.
After nearly beating him last year.
I wouldn't say that. The
Sorry.
had their number last year.
I know people on podcasts are probably thinking, what the hell just happened? I almost just got sacked with 40 seconds left in the first half on a drive where we really need points. And I got out of it, but it was a nail biter. I love these little curl routes, by the way. If we've got this
all the time, that's gonna be open there.
Whump, got it. Ooh, I wanted to spin out of that.
You can break that second tackle too. That's what.
Yep.
It was crazy.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, no, I think it was very cathartic, especially for you. I think that the Dolphins are in a similar spot as the Bills, if I can be so bold to say so. Got to get the ground game going a little bit better.
Yeah, actually, they were running the ball well. They just kept going to Tua. I mean, they were getting 5 yards of carry. They had success.
How do you feel about Tua Tagovailoa designed runs?
No, absolutely, never again.
I looked at you and I said naked bootleg at one point, and I thought you were going to punch me in the face.
I do not want to see any kind of design anything for him.
I had to get rid of that
you're
one.
In field goal range.
I know I am. I know. I'm panicked.
You're smarter than me.
I'm panicked. All right, I'm going back to the formations. I don't know how you play in the Ask Coach mode.
It's just I don't like scroll.
Okay, what other teams impressed?
Especially a playbook I don't know very well.
What other teams impressed you?
Who beat the team I'm wearing? Who beat the Seahawks? Whoever beat the Seahawks, they're escaping me, but I did not expect the Seahawks to lose that game. The Patriots in a loss surprised me, especially Mac Jones. He had a rough start to that game, the way he got it back together. And
he did battle back. Yeah, he battled
back. One
back.
of the better passing games of any quarterback in Week 1. Obviously, the Lions were impressive, but I'm going unless somebody's already commented who beat. The 49ers, obviously, and then the Browns. I'd say those are really the big winners of week. The Browns shutting down the Bengals like that, and the 49ers beating the Steelers handily. They all looked really, really. You just going end zone? No.
I was trying to break a tackle. I got to time out. We're gonna get a couple shots to the end zone here. But I need to get in the end zone is the issue.
The throw has to be to the end zone and not to Oklahoma, because this is where I always turn it over.
Yeah, man. All right, we can talk about the Bills because I know you really want to talk about how terrible they are.
I'm not gonna. I will. I mean, I'll be blunt. I've been blunt about Alabama, and I'll be blunt about you guys should not have let that one get away.
Oh, thank you, Brick.
I'm just. No. He's in. Let's go.
I am an offensive guy.
We needed that.
What people don't understand about me is I just understand football.
Quincy Radar knows how to scheme.
By the way, we are down 7 now, going into halftime. If you're listening,
that's at Oklahoma.
If you're listening on pod, but no, look, man, Josh Allen can't be this gunslinger, dude. Apparently, the Manning cast, he told Peyton Manning at one point, like, I'm not going to be that guy anymore. I'm not going to be the gunslinger who just chucks it up and just watches what happens, right?
Let's watch this 3rd and 20.
I'm not going to be that guy. And then he was that guy all night last night. Also, you sitting here and being like, I was going to be harsh. I'm harsh on Alabama. Well, you root for Alabama. That's way different. You want me to be harsh about the Dolphins the last 3 years?
Try the last 30. I'll be way quicker than you to be harsh about the Dolphins. I am just waiting for it to crumble. I am waiting for it.
Chat. What do you want us to talk about? Throw up a question. Forrest, throw up a question.
Just keep talking about the game.
We can talk about Mason Garcia.
We can.
ECU quarterback Mason Garcia. One of the reasons why I was so glad ECU didn't win the vote was because of Mason Garcia.
Oof.
But I really wanted Forrest to be like involved in this.
Did that late. He still missed it.
Still should have been a catch. ECU looked terrible. App State, by the way, really surprised me against North Carolina. I didn't really go back on App State there, but I didn't think they had a snowball's chance in hell in that game.
Yeah.
But they played great, man. I mean, they looked good. ECU, App State, that has to be a rivalry trophy at some point. I know it probably isn't right now. At some point, that needs to be a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you would call it. The Mountaineer Pirates. Oh, if they were only the Buccaneers, you could call it the Buccaneer Trophy, but spell the near with the Mountaineer, you know?
That would be tight.
That'd be pretty sweet. Forrest just said, "Don't." He's so bad. He is.
He was the worst quarterback I've watched in a while. It was really rough.
It was fascinating watching he and Jalen Milroe basically do the same thing on 2 completely different type of playing levels.
Yeah. I mean, Milroe wasn't much better, but he had a little success.
Let me pull up some more scores from Saturday. Oh, JMU with the late comeback against Virginia. I know we talked about it a little bit, but that was an awesome comeback.
Yeah, fantastic.
That was a great
I always
game.
like seeing them succeed because they're kind of new to the scene.
Absolute
I'm new in town.
Absolute BS that they can't go to a bowl game, by the way.
Yeah.
Or compete for the Sun Belt title. That's absolute BS.
NCAA.
Oh my gosh, Youngstown State. Youngstown State scored on their opening drive, and Paxton Rembis nearly took his shirt off. He was so happy.
We thought the upset was coming.
He was so happy. Ohio State, 3rd best team in the Big Ten East, with the 4th best quarterback.
I full on agree.
Right
now they're the 3rd best team in that division.
They really need to pick it up, but I also could see this being one of those seasons where they pick it up and they're really annoying at the end of the season. Because Ohio State always does this, man. Yeah. Michigan always also does this, dude, where Michigan just struggles early in the season to make us think like, oh, they're human, and then they just go out and destroy everybody.
Unfortunately for Ohio State, they have big games coming up. Fortunately for Michigan, they don't play a ranked team till November.
Congrats, you're Georgia. You're Georgia with more snow.
Bad decision.
And better academic structure and Jim Harbaugh. Also, the Jim Harbaugh thing is just getting out of hand. They treat him like he's dead. It's like they throw a memorial for him. Here, go through some scores and talk about some games. College football podcast.
College football podcast. We could also just kind of live talk we could cut the audio for the pod here and just do the game.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna pause right quick. And if you're listening to the podcast, hey, you guys are our bread and butter. You're our backbone. You are the reason we do this. Thank you so much. We love you so much. If you are podcast listening right now, this is where we're gonna cut it. I'm gonna look at the time. Nope. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna look at the time.
Look at it on the stream here, maybe. We have it pulled up next to us for the.
Okay, 109.
1 hour mark.
All right, around the 1 hour mark. Pod, thank you so much for listening. We love you. We'll talk to you next week. Roll Tide. Everybody else, let's watch some more UAB football.
We have to finish this game.
We've been outgained quite a bit this game, by the way.
Well, we're playing a super sim. That's going to happen if we're not scoring a lot.
Oh my gosh, dude. The dropped passes are just so terrible. Where's Jade?
She's packing, I think.
Yeah, she still is packing. I would love to have Jade on the pod right now. Okay, all right, hold on. We got a
Talk
lot.
to us in the comments.
We got a lot more chat here.
Talk about how terrible.
Tony's so bad. ECU is going to get dog waltzed by App State. Yeah, probably.
Is Forrest on there?
Yeah.
How's our audio sounding today compared to last week? If you
Yeah.
don't mind typing for us.
And then Joe says
We do a little
OSU third
different.
best team. Okay, I read that one. Guy ran the chain gang for his son's Pee Wee team Saturday. Wait, what? Oh, Harbaugh.
Oh yeah, Harbaugh.
I did love Harbaugh's daughter. The TikTok that she did. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, "Where's my dad?" And I thought that was super funny. But no, just the whole like week one. I don't think we talked about this last week, but like, oh my gosh.
Let's go!
This offensive play was what, dude? 37-yard reception. Yes, Harbaugh. Yeah,
man.
thank you, Joe. That's insane that he ran the chain. Do you think he sleeps? And I don't mean this like, oh, like Harbaugh's he is a hard worker. That's not what I'm saying. But like, do you think he just sits there all night, just like, God, I can't wait to do more football stuff in the morning.
That's how
I can't wait to. I can't wait to football. That's just how I imagine he is all the time. I don't know, man. Audio is good quality, but Brick is quiet. Okay, well, we can change that. Brick was yelling earlier. When you started talking about Alabama, you got really loud, and I turned you down.
I always get loud after an Alabama loss.
That's my bad. So I'm probably gonna have to fix that in post. That's gonna be super fun for me to fix on the podcast, people. All right.
We'll see how quiet.
Is he still quiet? I'll be able to fix it.
I'll speak up. I mean, I can talk a little loud. You turn me up, you know. DJ, turn me up. Crank it to the max. Soldier Boy, tell him, baby. This is also the part of the stream where I kind of lose like my broadcaster voice and just become the guy playing video games. So I kind of enjoy that too. Just talking with our friends over chat.
And we're still in different channels, by the way. So I'm gonna have to fix that next week too. I've got to do some research on how to do that because
I've got voice meter on here. It's probably a voice meter thing that might fix it, but that is it's gonna be a pain in the butt to feed it through.
Am I coming out of the left or right channel? There's a way to fix it in Premiere, but I don't know how to do it. Where we're both in both channels, because it's like we're a mono output here. Is there a way to change this to stereo output?
Maybe. But I'm not going to touch stuff
don't
right
touch
now
it now.
while we're live.
Yeah,
Why is that the play I decided to show?
Yeah, I don't know. I like that this stream or this game was just like, hey, do you want to see some lowlights?
Okay, so I will say this. I said it earlier and I meant it, but it sounded like an excuse, so I didn't go into detail. But I don't have this TV. We were trying to get this podcast off, and I don't have this TV calibrated for what we're playing. So there is a pretty decent input lag that has messed me up on more than one occasion.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Like, when you hit A...
Sorry, no. I know what you mean by input lag. How are you going to fix that?
I don't know. Maybe a nicer or better HDMI cable?
I thought you were about to say nicer or better TV, and I was...
No, I mean, this is... Or, you know, it's...
struck.
You know,
This was an impulse purchase on a Super Bowl Sunday.
Cheapest time to get a TV.
It's the best time to get a TV. Who's the next college football dynasty?
Like after Georgia, because Georgia's won right now.
Yeah. I hate everything that I'm doing right now.
All right, who's got a young coach that's going to be there a long time? I would say USC.
Yeah, that would be my answer too. I could see.
I think USC's going to
Oh my gosh, we're down by 4, ladies and gents.
Oh, you're putting all the pressure on me. Unless Oklahoma scores. Then that just means there's more pressure on me.
If this were real life, we would definitely be going up in the rankings after this.
Oh, big time. Yes. Smartly watching it.
Yeah, got to.
I'm excited for us to be a head coach somewhere.
So we can actually play defense.
We'll play, well, that's actually probably going to hurt us more than help us.
But then we get to introduce Coach B.
Then we get to introduce. I didn't name Coach B because that's the defensive coordinator when we're in offense.
Well,
when we're a head coach.
We're down 10 with 5 minutes left. You need to score in the next 2 minutes if we want a shot. Did you just call it a run play?
I did, just to start, just one run play to start the drive, then I'm going to do all pass.
Okay. If this were real life, we'd be going up in the rankings after this game, regardless of the final score.
Yeah, we go. Hurry up.
Not
Not a bad run play to start though.
Forrest says Colorado's the next college football dynasty.
See, I think if they get to dynasty status, Deion will be gone by then.
Yes, Deion will take over.
I don't think he's going to be there a super long time.
Do you think Deion would ever go coach at Florida?
Yeah.
Because that's the next big job that's going to come a calling, I think. Oh,
I barely got that.
barely got that.
All right, now I'm running another run play because I'm going to do a read option just to try to pick up this.
How can we fix the audio thing, man?
That's a good question. We will. So, I know something that would fix it. I would just have to go into
Is it just like a
like
one-time
the
thing?
meat of this podcast. But I think if I fed everything into the voice meter, because I used to use this for our.
Oh no! Oh yay! Oh no! Sorry,
He's
that
so
was a
slow.
Wild
He's
play.
so slow. You hurry up. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Forrest said Colorado and then just said JK. Yeah, we know. But that's such a big. Isn't Florida like a huge rival? That's like Mark Ingram becoming a coach and going.
Recently, Dion said like he doesn't consider himself a Nole.
Come down here.
Are you still going?
Yeah, we're still going, but we're just on Twitch. We're done potting.
I'm on my pajamas.
We don't care that you're on your pajamas.
My pajamas.
Get down here. Joe Rancio would love to see you. Forrest would love to see you.
I'm in my pajamas. They're not even cute.
All right, Jade, I can't. Oh, no,
Did
Brick.
you see? No, that was the sliders.
Oh,
that was a perfect throw.
no.
That was a perfect throw.
Oh, no.
Are you passing their water?
No. Look at where he threw this. Look where he threw this ball.
Over, under.
Look where he threw this ball. This is devastating.
No, stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jade Norwood.
All right, you see what I see, right? He's about to run past this linebacker, and he does, which means if I throw it out in front of him, that's a completed pass, right? Look where he puts that ball.
Oof. Well, you did say out in front of him, and that's
did.
definitely out in front
But
of
that's
him.
too far out in front.
Audio is fine. It's not that bad. Thank you for saying that. It's still going to be a nightmare to fix.
Oh, we got the ball
podcast.
back immediate. No, they scored a touchdown on the next play.
Yeah.
Come on,
Dude,
man.
this sucks, dude. We were within 7 with like 6 minutes left. It's all right. Hey, look,
I'm not touching those sliders, though, because once we get a good quarterback
baby,
in-
nobody's asking you to.
I know, but I'm mad.
Oof. All right.
This is tough.
This is not.
Also,
gonna
we're
be
rusty.
easy.
I haven't played this game in a while, probably a year at least.
We've both had quite a few touchdowns tonight. We put up 24 on Oklahoma. Why are you worried? We're not getting fired.
We're not getting fired.
Over under Deion Sanders in Boulder, 2.5 years. Did he drop that? No. Okay. We're running hurry up. We are playing to win this game. I know we're not going to, but we play to win the game.
If he keeps seeing the success, I don't think he's there for a third season. So I would say under.
Oh boy. Oh, I panicked. I mill road. Oof. We're calling a timeout. We are playing to win this game.
We're going to win this game. And I hate to be this way, but we saw how quick. And I'm not getting into the stuff where people were upset with him.
said you're playing like Mason Garcia.
Yes.
Got him. Missed him.
This is tough. This is a tough one. No, but he, a lot of people thought he wasn't going to leave Jackson State for Colorado because that wasn't a big enough jump up for all, what he was accomplishing at Jackson State. And he did. So I think that he is a coach that as soon as the bigger job comes, if it's a bigger Power 5 job, that he can, he's just a bad quarterback.
I'm trying my best over here.
It's not your fault.
We're running hurry up. I am playing to win this game. We're going for it on this 4th down because we are playing to win this game.
We'll be, if we could get off like 8 or 9 wins, we'll get hired as an offensive coordinator at like Ohio State or Alabama. That's usually what happens in year 2 of this game.
Yeah.
And then we'll actually,
And then we'll actually be good.
Because
this just ain't it. Too many drop back. Oh, Dylan Gabriel, dude. He's just letting us have it now. Dylan Gabriel heard we were talking that smack.
And if you want to talk about it, I'll give you the sliders we're using. You can use them to a T, and then you'll see why he keeps throwing the ball out of bounds. Come on, break that tackle.
6. Oh,
my guy.
I wish I knew how to pronounce that first name.
We can get one more touchdown. If we can get one more touchdown, I'll feel good about this
If
game.
we get one more touchdown, we put up 31 against Oklahoma in our second game as OC. There's no way Trent Dilfer fires us, probably.
I don't like this play.
I don't like it either.
But you know who's going to be open?
Nope. What are you doing?
No.
He was never open.
He was never open. I threw it before his cut.
Give me this. We have 4 turnovers. And one of them was a fumble. What else do you guys want to talk about? Go ahead, chat. Light it up.
No, that's ball game.
Oh, that's it. All right.
I won't be throwing those picks next week.
Hey, Thanks for watching.
Yeah,
Super fun. Had a great time. Next week we'll have more people in the chat too, because Bulls won't be playing. I'll have more Bulls people.
We'll have more people on. We'll be doing this a little earlier next week. Hopefully, for the next foreseeable future. The weeks where you're gone, because you're going to Europe, right? And there's a chance you'll be.
We'll have a backup. I'll probably actually. We need to find a way if you could play videos on here. I could give you like a little stand-up video that I could send you.
Yeah.
Patty's takes in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll get Forrest, Andrew Green, Parker
We'll
Rhodes.
play the game and
Get the crew on, man. Get the boys back in town. Call Thin Lizzy up. It's time to roll.
Anyway, guys, we
Thanks
had a
for
lot of
watching.
fun. I'm about to hit the end button here, though.
We love you.
Keep
we'll see
it
you
real.
next week. Bye.
Yeah, holler.